The Holy One, blessed be He. Welcome to Beit Yisrael International's Voice of Torah podcast, where the eternal light of Torah shines forth to the nations. I am Gaddi Efrayim, and it is my privilege and honor to guide you on today's journey into the profound teachings of Parashat Miketz 5785, with host agents Abraham and Sarah. This weekly Parsha is rich with layers of meaning, both textual and mystical. The word Miketz itself, meaning at the end, carries profound eschatological and spiritual significance. In the teachings of our sages, it reflects two distinct ends: the spiritual left, representing the cessation of evil and exile, and the spiritual right, symbolizing divine goodness, holiness, and the ultimate fulfillment of God's purpose in the world. We witness this in the story of Yosef HaTzaddik, whose journey from the depths of prison to his ascension as second-in-command to Pharaoh mirrors the cosmic battle between darkness and light. Yosef's rise signifies the triumph of divine mercy and the ultimate spiritual victory, serving as a beacon of hope for all generations. The sages reveal that Yosef's identity as Tzafnat Paneakh, the revealer of mysteries, foreshadows the mission of Mashiach ben Yosef. Just as Yosef brought clarity, sustenance, and unity during a time of great famine and fragmentation, Mashiach ben Yosef will unveil the Torah's deepest mysteries, unite humanity through divine wisdom, and pave the way for the final redemption. Thank you for joining me today on Voice of Torah. May the insights of this parasha inspire us to strive for spiritual growth, unity, and dedication to God's divine plan. Until next time, blessings to all.
Okay, so we're diving into some pretty mystical territory today.
Yep.
We've got these sources talking about, the spiritual left and right and Kabbalah.
Yeah.
And specifically, I'm getting into some teachings from Beit Yisrael International. And, they're led by this guy, Gaddi Efrayim.
Right.
It's this pretty wild idea. The whole left symbolizing evil and exile thing.
Yeah.
And the right, representing holiness and goodness and all that.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
Yeah.
That duality.
Totally.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's, we're not talking politics here.
Right.
This is something deeper.
Right.
It's a spiritual dimension, like what's described in Kabbalistic texts, like the Zohar,
Yeah, yeah.
It's about this journey from darkness to light.
Oh, I see.
From exile to redemption.
Okay, so walk me through that a little bit.
Okay, so think of the Zohar.
Yeah.
One of the core Kabbalistic texts.
Yeah.
What it does is it contrasts these two opposing forces.
Okay.
And it's setting the stage for this whole idea of redemption. It's saying, look, you got to move from the left to the right to get to that spiritual wholeness.
You're talking about from a state of...
Yeah, like spiritual exile to a state of,
favor, yeah.
Favor, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
And Beit Yisrael with Gaddi Efrayim.
Yeah.
They really run with this idea. They take this duality and they see it as this inherent process of transformation, both within individuals and in Jewish history as a whole.
Okay, so it's both personal and kind of
it's cosmic.
Cosmic. Okay.
It's this movement, from concealment to revelation, like progressing towards this greater spiritual understanding.
Okay.
And they use the story of Joseph, right?
Yeah. With Egypt and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His rise to power after being, imprisoned.
Right.
They see that as a metaphor.
A metaphor
for this whole process of redemption.
Oh, interesting.
He goes through hardship, exile, but then he ends up in this position of influence, of favor.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not just some cool story.
No, it's it's reflecting this
that's
deeper spiritual reality, this moving from the left to the right, from darkness to light.
I'm starting to get it.
And what's cool is the Torah actually uses specific language to highlight these moments.
That's a transition.
The transition where the exile or judgment ends and something new begins.
Almost like signposts along the way?
Exactly.
Okay, so then how does this connect to the whole end of days thing, the Messianic era?
So Beit Yisrael sees these themes like woven throughout the Torah, especially in Jacob's words to his sons, you know, the prophetic blessings.
Right.
And in the Zohar's interpretation of Joseph's story,
okay,
they believe these stories, you know, they point to this future time of ultimate redemption, this messianic era when good triumphs over evil.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about opposing forces, right? Like, where do the Sephiro fit in?
Good question.
You know, those divine emanations in Kabbalah.
Yes.
And you mentioned Gevurah specifically.
Right. So the Sephiro, they're a whole system representing different aspects of God's attributes.
Yeah.
And Beit Yisrael connects them to this process of tikkun, spiritual rectification.
Right, right.
Gaddi Efrayim focuses on cheesed, which is kindness and compassion.
Okay.
And Gevurah, which is strength and judgment.
Oh, okay.
He sees them like in this cosmic dance.
Interesting.
A balancing act between mercy and justice. And that reflects, you know, the struggle between holiness and impurity in the world.
So it's not just like a static good and bad.
No, it's like dynamic.
Yeah.
It's this interplay
that
drives...
It's pushing...
pushing things forward.
Evolution, both personal and...
Exactly, both individual and cosmic.
Okay.
And, you know, this resonates with Hasidic thought as well.
Oh, really?
They emphasize this journey of the soul from a state of concealment to spiritual awakening.
So that aligns with this whole...
It aligns with the exile and redemption themes we've been talking about.
It's all kind of coming together.
All connected.
So, like, what does all this mean for me?
Right.
For the listener, you know?
It raises a question.
Okay.
How can understanding this duality influence our own journeys? You mean like our...
How we see the challenges.
Yeah, like our own personal stuff?
Exactly. We all experience these moments of darkness and light. Times when we feel lost. Like we're in exile.
I've been there.
And times when we feel, you know, purpose, fulfillment, like a taste of redemption.
Right.
And maybe by recognizing these patterns, we can, you know, navigate life's ups and downs with more awareness and resilience.
So even when things are bad?
Yeah. Even in the darkness, we can remember that the potential for growth, transformation, moving from that left to the right, it's always there.
That's actually really helpful.
A powerful idea.
It is. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
Food for thought.
Food for thought, yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
We're exploring exile and redemption today, focusing on the Torah portion about Joseph. And we'll be using interpretations from Beit Yisrael International and its leader, Gaddi Efrayim.
It's amazing how they use Joseph's story, you know, as a blueprint for the soul's journey. Like, it's not just history. It's about those universal ups and downs we all go through in life.
Right, those timeless themes. Okay, so let's start with left and right symbolism. It's a big deal in Jewish mysticism.
Yeah, it pops up everywhere. The left, well, it's often associated with judgment, impurity, exile, those forces that try to pull us off course, you know?
On the right. That's got to be the good stuff.
Exactly. Kindness, holiness, and ultimately redemption, connecting to a deeper sense of purpose.
So how does this left and right stuff show up in Joseph's story?
Well, think about Joseph's time in prison. That's described as the end of the left, like the peak of suffering, the lowest point of exile.
Okay, hitting rock bottom. But then he rises to power in Egypt. That's the end of the right, right?
You got it. The ultimate triumph, fulfillment of his destiny.
So it's like a cosmic struggle between judgment and mercy playing out.
That's a great way to put it. And what's cool is how Beit Yisrael International connect this to the bigger picture of Jewish history.
I love that, finding those hidden connections. Okay, this is where it gets even more interesting. The Zohar talks about endings and beginnings.
Yeah, they interpret, and it came to pass at the end as pointing to divine timing.
Divine timing. It's like saying even in the tough times, there's a bigger plan unfolding, right?
Right. Rabbi Chizkiah, a commentator on the Zohar, explains that God sets times for both light, meaning good fortune and redemption, and also for darkness, meaning exile and suffering.
So God orchestrates both the good and the bad.
It's a challenging concept, I know, but it's at the heart of Jewish mystical thought. And Gaddi Efrayim, through Beit Yisrael International, is really emphasizing that these periods aren't arbitrary. They mirror what humanity is doing.
So our choices are affecting the flow of divine energy.
It is. It's not about punishment or reward. It's more like a dynamic dance between free will and this overarching divine plan.
Okay, mind blown. How does this divine timing idea play out in Joseph's story?
Well, both his suffering and his release happened at the exact right moment. There's a purpose to both the darkness and the light in his life.
This makes me think about the hard times in our own lives, right?
Yeah.
What if those endings are really just beginnings in disguise?
That's powerful. And the Midrash takes this idea even further. It sees endings as both a time when hardship stops and when divine favor starts to flow.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
Well, they highlight how Joseph's release from prison wasn't just about escaping misery. It was the start of his rise to power, his chance to fulfill his destiny.
So it's a stepping stone to something bigger.
Exactly. And Gaddi Efrayim connects this to the bigger picture of Israel's eventual redemption.
There's something so hopeful about that.
There is. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, there's a seed of redemption being planted.
You know, this is making me think about exile and redemption in a whole new way. It's not just about physical places, it's like a spiritual journey.
That's beautiful. And this journey is really connected to the interplay of divine light and concealment, which brings us to the Kabbalistic perspective.
Ooh, Kabbalah. It always feels kind of mysterious. What does it have to say about all of this?
Well, Kabbalah views exile and transformation as a reflection of this interplay between divine light and its concealment.
Okay, break that down for me. What exactly do we mean by divine light and concealment?
It's a big concept, but think of divine light like God's energy, the life force flowing through everything. It's the source of all creation and goodness.
So, like a spiritual energy.
Yes, but sometimes this light is hidden or concealed. And that concealment is what creates the feeling of exile, both for individuals and for whole groups of people.
So it's not that God is absent, it's more like God's presence is veiled.
Exactly. And Kabbalah suggests that this concealment has a purpose. It creates a space for us to grow and choose to connect with the divine.
Like a cosmic game of hide and seek.
I love that. And Beit Yisrael International takes this even deeper. They say this interplay of light and concealment is actually a spiritual structure that reflects how aligned we are with God's will.
So our choices impact how much divine light is revealed in our lives.
Precisely. And Gaddi Efrayim really stresses the importance of fixing any spiritual neglect and preparing for redemption. There's even a verse, "It is time to act for Hashem." It's like a call to action.
So this whole idea of exile and redemption isn't about passively waiting. It's about actively working toward spiritual transformation.
Exactly. And that's a major theme running through the entire Joseph story.
Wow, I'm seeing Joseph's story in a whole new light. It's not just about adventure. It's like a guidebook for understanding how exile and redemption work on a deeper level.
Right. And this idea is a core part of Gaddi Efrayim and Beit Yisrael International's teachings.
They seem to have a knack for uncovering those hidden layers of meaning. So what do they say about the end of the left and the end of the right specifically?
Well, they connect the end of the left with, they're like husks of impurity that block divine light.
So it's like we're shedding negativity and darkness.
Yes. And then the end of the right, that represents when divine mercy really shows up.
Wow, okay. So what does that actually look like?
That's a great question. I think it's about those moments when we feel a deep sense of connection and purpose, like we're aligned with something much greater than ourselves. It's about embodying kindness and compassion in a really authentic way.
So it's not just a feeling, it's about how we live our lives, right?
Exactly. And these insights from Beit Yisrael International are shedding light on this cosmic battle between holiness and impurity, just like in Joseph's journey.
It's amazing how much depth is in that story. Joseph really is a perfect example of this whole idea.
He is. And it's a story that speaks to all of us no matter what. It's about transformation and ultimately about coming home to our true purpose. And you know, Joseph's journey is really central to Beit Yisrael International's teachings. They see it as a symbol of the soul's journey from darkness to light.
Yeah, like he's this archetype of transformation. And his rise to power, they see that as foreshadowing the ultimate redemption of Israel.
Right. And his role as a prototype of Mashiach ben Yosef highlights those dual aspects of redemption.
Hold on, remind me. Who is Mashiach ben Yosef again?
Good question. Mashiach ben Yosef is a figure in Jewish tradition who precedes Mashiach ben David. He suffers and goes through trials before bringing about peace and redemption.
So Joseph embodies some of those qualities.
Exactly. And the dual aspects of redemption he represents are first the end of suffering, and then realizing our divine purpose.
Not just escaping the bad, but reaching our full potential.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've been talking ends of the left and ends of the right, cosmically. But how does this play out in our everyday lives?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, like, is it always about hitting rock bottom?
Well, Not necessarily a massive crisis. The end of the left is more about recognizing when we're stuck. Stuck in negative patterns, limiting beliefs,
Becoming aware of inner obstacles.
Exactly. It's about confronting those shadows, choosing to step into a more authentic way of being.
I've definitely felt that, like being at a crossroads.
And there's often a sense of urgency in those moments, like it's time to break free.
Absolutely. And that's where the end of the right comes in.
Exactly. Aligning ourselves with divine energy, stepping into our potential.
Allowing that inner light to shine outward.
Beautifully said. And this process, moving from the end of the left to the end of the right, that's the journey towards wholeness.
This is making me rethink challenges and opportunities, not as isolated events, but part of this larger dance.
A dance between light and darkness, exile and redemption.
And we're all characters in this grand narrative.
It really is. And we have the power to choose how we respond. We can stay stuck or embrace the end of the right.
It's empowering to think about that. Even in the hard stuff, we have a choice.
That's the core message from Beit Yisrael International and Gaddi Efrayim. It's about remembering our connection to the divine and our ability to participate in tikkun olam, repairing the world.
There's something so hopeful about that.
It is. It's a call to action, an invitation to co-create with the divine.
This conversation has been a gift. We've unlocked this treasure chest of wisdom.
And it's available to everyone.
That's what's so great about this deep dive. We're making these complex mystical concepts relevant to everyday life.
And by doing that, we're empowering ourselves to live more consciously, to create a world that reflects divine beauty and harmony.
I can't think of a better way to end this part of our exploration.
And as we move towards the final part of our deep dive, think about these ends in your own life. What opportunities for growth are you seeing?
And how can you embrace the end of the right?
We'll explore these themes even deeper in our final segment. Okay, so today we're diving deep.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We're looking at Yosef from the Bible.
Oh.
But not just the basic story that everybody kind of knows.
Yeah.
We're going deeper into his Egyptian name, Tzafnat Paneakh.
Right.
Which is a weird name. Have you ever thought about that name?
I mean, it's definitely, it stands out.
It sticks out, and It has a lot of hidden meaning, especially about the Messiah in Jewish mystical thought.
Okay.
So we're going to be using a couple of sources today. The teachings of Gaddi Efrayim.
Okay.
And then also some stuff from Beit Yisrael International.
Cool.
Both of them have some really interesting perspectives on this.
So this name, Tzafnat Paneakh, it's often translated as the man who reveals mysteries.
Yeah, the revealer of
that's not just a name, right? There's got to be something deeper to it.
I mean, that's a bold title to give somebody, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Out of all the biblical figures, why is Yosef pegged as, the mystery guy?
Well, I mean, he did have that whole dream interpretation thing going on.
Oh, yeah, the dreams.
Not just his own dreams either, but Pharaoh's dreams.
Right.
He could see beyond the surface, understood symbols.
Like a code.
Yeah, like a hidden code.
Right.
And the sages, they saw that as a connection to the Messiah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because the Messiah is supposed to reveal the deeper meaning of the Torah, right?
Okay.
So they saw a parallel.
So Yosef's not just some fortune teller, right?
Right.
He's revealing deeper truths.
Yeah, deeper truths embedded in the Torah.
Yeah.
It's you said, a secret code.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiting to be unlocked.
Okay, so it's not just about predicting the future, but about understanding, the core.
Right, the essence.
The essence of the Torah.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. But, didn't Yosef use this knowledge to, guide Egypt through that whole famine thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he didn't just keep it to himself. Right?
Yeah, right.
He used his understanding to help others.
Yeah, to actually make a difference.
Make a difference, save lives.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about personal gain. It was about using that knowledge to benefit everyone.
Okay, so revealing these mysteries isn't just about, knowing stuff.
Right.
It's about applying it.
Applying it, taking action.
Yeah.
And that's where Yosef's story gets even more interesting.
Oh, okay. How so?
Because the sources we're looking at, they suggest that his whole journey from the pit to, becoming the second most powerful guy in Egypt.
Yeah, that whole crazy story.
That's a blueprint for redemption.
Redemption, in the bigger picture.
In the bigger picture for the Jewish people and for humanity in general.
Wow. Okay, that's a pretty big claim.
Well,
how do they make that connection? Yosef's story to redemption.
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
He starts off in a really bad place, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery. dark times.
Yeah, it's rough.
But he doesn't give up on his faith.
Right.
He keeps that connection to God.
Okay.
And through that, he rises to power, and he uses that power to bring about healing and reconciliation.
So it's not just a rags to riches kind of story.
No, it's deeper than that. It's about transformation, moving from darkness to light.
Okay, yeah.
From separation to unity.
That sounds a lot like the whole messianic vision, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the Messiah is supposed to usher in an era of peace, unity, redemption. Yosef's journey embodies that.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this is all coming together. We're talking about Yosef's name.
Right.
But it's leading us into all these other big ideas.
The big ideas.
Like the nature of the Messiah, the whole concept of redemption, and how revealing these hidden truths can actually change the world.
Yeah, and we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, wow, okay.
There's so much more to explore here about how Yosef's story, it foreshadows the Messianic era.
Right.
And what it means for us today.
Okay, before we go too far, I do have a burning question.
Okay.
About this whole dream interpretation, Messiah revealing the Torah.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean? Is it about finding a secret code in the text?
That's a great question.
Or is it something else?
And it brings us to this concept of the Torah of Mashiach.
The Torah of Mashiach. Okay.
Which I know sounds a bit mysterious.
Yeah.
But it's really not as complicated as it seems. It's about seeing the Torah through a new lens, uncovering deeper layers of meaning that might have been hidden before.
So it's not like a new Torah, but a new way to understand the one we have.
Exactly. Like discovering a hidden dimension.
Okay. That's pretty wild.
Right.
So what changes? What happens in the Messianic era that makes this new understanding possible?
Okay, so Gaddi Efrayim, he explains that it's not like an external event. It's an internal shift, a transformation of the heart that allows us to perceive those deeper truths that were always there.
So it's not about getting new information.
Right.
It's about seeing what's already there in a new way.
Exactly. Like removing a veil from our perception.
Okay.
Allowing us to see the interconnectedness of everything, the divine spark within each of us, that unity underlying all of creation.
Okay, so how does this Torah of Mashiach actually show up in our lives?
Well, one key aspect is the emphasis on internal transformation.
Okay.
Rather than just external observance. It's not just about following the rules. It's about embodying the spirit of the Torah.
So less about doing the right things.
Right.
And more about being in alignment with the deeper principles.
Exactly. Moving beyond just blind obedience, cultivating a heart that's truly aligned with divine will.
That makes a lot of sense. But how does that internal change, how does that translate into action?
Okay, well, remember how Yosef, he used his position to help everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't just hoard resources. He created a system that benefited everyone.
Right. Right, like tikkun olam.
Yes, exactly. Tikkun olam, repairing the world.
Yeah.
By creating a sense of unity and abundance.
Okay, so the Torah of Mashiach inspires us to do tikkun olam in that same way.
Yeah, it's not just about charity. It's about creating systems that promote justice and well-being for all.
So shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness, working together to create a world where everyone can thrive. And that's the transformative power of the Torah of Mashiach.
So it's not like a new set of rules being imposed.
Yeah.
It's about awakening to this understanding that we're all connected.
Yes, and then acting from that understanding.
Okay, so the Torah of Mashiach isn't something that we just passively receive.
No.
It's something we actively participate in.
Absolutely.
By cultivating our own awareness and aligning our actions with these deeper principles.
Precisely. And through that active participation, we actually contribute to bringing about the Messianic era.
That's powerful. So we don't have to wait for the Messiah to come fix everything.
Right.
We can start living by those principles now.
Exactly. And that brings us back to Yosef. His journey from darkness to light, from separation to unity, that's a model for all of us. It's a model for our own individual and collective journeys towards redemption.
So what lessons can we learn from Yosef's experience to help us on our own path?
Well, for one, the importance of faith.
Oh.
Remember, he went through some incredibly tough stuff.
He did.
But he never lost sight of God.
Yeah.
And that connection, it guided him. And it allowed him to use his experiences to bring healing and reconciliation.
So even when things are rough, we have the power to choose faith over despair.
Exactly. to see those challenges as opportunities for growth, and to trust that even our struggles can lead us to something good.
That's a really good message. So we don't have to wait for the Messianic era to start living by these principles.
Right.
We can cultivate them in ourselves now.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another key lesson from Yosef. Forgiveness. I mean, think about it. He was betrayed, sold into slavery, separated from his family for years.
Ooh, yeah, talk about holding a grudge.
Right. But even after all of that, he forgave his brothers.
Yeah.
He brought his family back together. He paved the way for healing and a better future.
So forgiveness is not just about letting go of anger.
Right.
It's about choosing to see the good in others, even those who've hurt us.
Yes, and creating the possibility for a more harmonious relationship.
Yeah.
And that's a key part of the Torah of Mashiach.
Okay.
Recognizing that true redemption comes through reconciliation, bridging those divides, embracing our shared humanity.
This is making me think about, you mentioned earlier this concept of Atika Kadisha.
Ah, yes.
The most ancient and hidden level of God.
That's right.
How does that Abaya connect to all of this?
That's a great question.
Yes.
There's so much more we could explore.
I know.
I really encourage you to check out Gaddi Efrayim's work.
Okay.
And Beit Yisrael International.
Yeah.
They have so much to offer.
Okay, so before we wrap up, is there like one key takeaway, one last thought you want to leave us with?
You know, we've been talking about Yosef as this revealer of mysteries. Yeah. But the real question is, what mysteries are you meant to reveal?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What gifts and talents are hidden inside you, waiting to be awakened? Remember, each of us, we have the potential to be at Tzafnat Paneakh, to tap into that Atika Kadisha energy and contribute to a better world.
Okay.
So go out there, explore, discover, and reveal that hidden light within you.
Wow, that's amazing. What a great message to end on. It reminds us that like this journey,
it never ends.
It never ends, yeah. And we all have a role to play in it.
We do.
So thank you so much for this incredible deep dive.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep seeking, keep questioning.
Keep revealing.
Keep revealing that hidden light.
Yes.
Until next time.